Welcome to Tonia's Kitchen, where taste and nutrition go hand in hand. Here is Tonia King.
My guest today is author Nick Greenberg. Today we're talking about the brand new book, The Culinary Caper. You're an interesting fellow. You're a musician. You're a chef. I'm assuming you're still a chef. Is this your first book, The Culinary Caper?
Well, let me correct one of those things. I'm not a chef. I have worked in restaurants a bit, but I chose music as my career. I'm a avid home cooker. So yeah, I like to cook. But to the second question, actually, my first book, Buried Treasure, was I think came out in 2020, and it's also very food centric.
Interesting. Well, we align because I'm a musician as well as a foodie, and this was really entertaining. How in the world did you even come up with the concept? I mean, it's a riot from, Prudence, the food truck, to stealing art. I mean, it really made me laugh. Tell me your thoughts on the concept.
Well, it's sort of when I get an idea for a book like my first one and this one, Culinary Caper, it comes in bits and pieces. So I had been thinking about food trucks, and I'd actually discussed it with my family, thinking, this is something I might want to do. And we talked about what the product would be, and that became the pierogies that were featured in this book. And then I realized that I need more to develop a story than just some guy driving around slinging pierogies. So somehow art theft just seemed to make a lot of sense to my demented brain, I guess.
It was really interesting because it really put you into this place of, I was just imagining you, in this food truck doing this big event and actually stealing the artwork. I mean, it was just really entertaining. And you just really, you get into it. I mean, this is quite the story. Tell us a little bit more about it for those that haven't read the book.
So without giving too much away, our hero has run into some financial difficulties, some of which are of his own making, but some are which things out of his control. I don't want to say what it is.
Right.
So an old friend of his from art school, before he became a chef, he went to art school, which he kind of failed out of. But his friend came up with this idea of helping Anton, our hero, out of his financial problems, and also maybe validating himself as an artist. I know that seems odd when you're thinking about, felonies, but so he has this scheme where he knows of, this is all set in Cincinnati, which is where I live. So his friend Ricky has the scheme to steal art that was previously stolen, and is now in the hands of many of the Reds players and Bengals players who've collected art without knowing their source. And the plan is to switch out the stolen paintings with forgeries that Ricky has made. And the way they get in the door is Anton's catering at these big events.
It makes me wonder. I know being a musician, I don't know if you're a composer, but sometimes you think, okay, what gives you these ideas to create pieces of work, your musical compositions or whatever. And I'm wondering, where do you put yourself to create these stories? Like, how do you even envision it? Did it start small and then it just kept growing?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. A lot of my ideas come when I'm driving. I drive a lot for gigs, or when I'm out on a run where my mind can just open up to random thoughts. And kind of the same thing, you did ask if I was a composer too. Yes. In fact, I have a couple of songs / videos that are about to drop, but that's not what this interview is about.
I don't know. I kind of like talking about music as well.
Yeah. So I take this idea, and then sometimes the characters that I use are loosely based on people I've met. As you know, there's pretty interesting characters in the music business.
Yes.
So I try to mask them. I don't want them to actually know who I'm using, but I like to throw them in different situations. But it's a slow process. And I don't typically, though I'm trying to change my ways, I don't typically plot out the whole novel. And I kind of just, page one, here's what's happening. We find ourselves with Anton pulling up to a mansion in one of Cincinnati's nicer neighborhoods about to steal art. And I have no idea, honestly, where it's going at that point. I know what my resolution is going to be. So I have sort of a beginning and an ending, and everything in the middle just kind of comes to me organically, I guess. I don't know.
And I get it as far as the whole creative mind thing. It's like this stuff just comes out of nowhere. Sometimes it just drops, right?
Yeah, but I think also this thread of an idea, like I'm a bass player, but when I compose, I'm typically sitting down at the piano and I don't know where I'm going. I play a couple of notes. I like where it's going and it becomes something. And then the amazing thing for me is, so I've written this melody and this is like the storyline. But that's not, for me, that's not it. There's so much more that comes together when you start adding, other instruments. And then this whole thing just becomes something 100 times more than what it is.
Yeah. It's like, you have a palette in front of you of colors.
I love that.
Yeah. You have a new release coming up, The Caterer. So food and music seem to be really strong in your life.
Yeah, I think both of those things are, I grew up playing music from an early age. My mom was very musical. She wanted all us kids to at least be exposed to it, whether I don't think she had any intentions for me to follow that as a career. But also food has always been very important for myself, my family. We traveled a lot. We lived abroad for a while. We were experienced to so many different kinds of food. And I don't know, it's just really, I just have a craving for new and different food all
That's
the time.
exciting. Do you like to cook?
I love to cook. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any specialties? Like, do you prefer one cuisine over another?
Somebody asked me that recently. They said, name your favorite two cuisines. And I drew a total blank because I don't want to say it's whatever is on the plate in front of me. But to cook and eat, I mean, went out last night for Indian food. I love Indian food. I love anything stir fried. I love tacos. I love Cajun, French. I don't know.
It sounds like you have a wide net.
Yeah. Yes.
I like the music and food connection because that's obviously kind of my life as well. We're talking with Nick Greenberg about his brand new book called The Culinary Caper. I love the picture on the front of the food truck. Is that Prudence?
It is. Yeah, good call.
I wish you lots of luck. I appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you for having me. It was really nice.
I think you did a great job as far as the story. It really puts a smile on your face. I'm already envisioning, the food truck and the event. So it's really kind of fun.
I'm so happy that you like it. And I love that you said it puts a smile on your face because that's what I like.
How do we find you on social media?
So you can follow me on Instagram, Nick Greenberg author. The book's available online through Amazon and Barnes & Noble and lots of local Cincinnati area. I know that doesn't help you. Cincinnati area bookstores.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you'll subscribe to this podcast as we continue to take you around the world of food and wine on Tonia's Kitchen.